Now, I originally was not going to make this video for 3 reasons. 1, because in the script I have written so far, I was riding the shit out of Kingsman's meat. Like I was dick riding crazy style. And 2, it just really was not my place to talk about it since I wasn't invited to the tournament and I'm not involved in the slightest. And 3, because I originally wrote this script when there were almost no creators defending Kingsman up until he dropped his video and multitudes of creators switched sides to support the GOAT. Now I will say there are some snakes in the grass still in the creator Discord for Marvel Rivals, but CeCe does own that creator Discord and there are some CeCe Glazers in there. Some ops, if you will. Oh yeah, also CeCe did kick out Kingsman from that server, which is unfortunate because low-key, as a fanboy, he was the only reason I was in that shit, let's be real. But fuck me, I guess. I joined his Discord though, I'm in there. I'm in there with the fucking allies. But anyway, as we know, this story has developed and become mainstream, and it's honestly insane. So yeah, the potential views, they're too good to pass up. And since I'm obviously in the Magic GOAT debate along with Kingsman, that automatically allows me to talk about this situation. But with that all out of the way, let's get into the drama. But be warned, the dick riding does get a little intense. So to begin, I just wanted to say that Kingsman is the Peterbot of Marvel Rivals without fucking up a chocolate cake and then popping his ult and spamming the hard R. But I'll get to that later, because I want to preface this by saying that Luciosa, Zaza, and CeCe owe him a genuine apology. But I'll also get more into that later because I just hezzied you again, because there are others that owe him an apology too. That's right, because don't think I didn't see you guys. There were quite a few Marvel Rivals creators that completely backed CeCe, Luciosa, and Zaza and were against Kingsman, but then completely 180'd after he dropped a video and the community began to go up in flames. Now I don't want to name any names, but I will be honing in on some of their biggest points that I saw, and I'll be completely destroying those points. But for some context, Kingsman was originally kicked from the $40,000 Deadpool Cup for basically telling the Widow one-trick pony Zaza on his team to switch for either more frontline pressure, peel potential, or just triple support. And his reasoning for her to switch wasn't at all that she is a bad player. Yes, she was playing terribly in the scrims up until the last game where she aced, but because he knew that other teams will be extremely competitive and crutch to meta in order to win. It didn't matter if they had one-trick ponies or creators known for certain characters, they were still gonna switch to win, and guess what? He was right about everything. And after he got kicked, his team got blasted in the actual tournament. Like, they got absolutely shit on, and yo, I feel bad for Mark Deasy, bro. He dead got dragged into that shit. But anyway, Kingsman was right about everything, and he was most definitely right about other teams crutching to the meta. He was also right about needing more defense against coordinated dives, since Black Widow is only good against some solo divers. And he was right about teams playing triple support, because even in their very first round of the tournament, Necros, the dive player, the former Spider-Man GOAT, Necros, the damn near face of Marvel Rivals, besides Guang Guang, switched to run triple support. And I just want to point out that Necros' team beat Kingsman's X team, and apparently Necros' team had a plat support player on it against a team of Celestials, Eternities, and Zaza. Also, Kingsman was so correct about everything that his team was literally whining about how they were only losing because other teams were playing against the meta during the tournament. Oh, and did I mention that Kingsman literally offered to play Mantis to support Zaza's Widow? But they said no because they were extremely complacent and relying entirely on Kingsman to carry on Magic. Yo, it's such a funny situation because he tried to make compromises in so many ways and they just were not going for it at all. And low-key, I hopped on some games recently. Tell me why I play bad for 1 second, they start calling me Zaza. What kind of nickname is that? I'm playing bad for 1 second, bro. You start calling me damn near slurs in the community at this point, calling me Zaza because I'm 1 and 2 at the start of the game. Chill, gang. Let me lock in real quick. Anyways, that's another side note. Got me on a tangent and shit. So let's go back to the scrim, because while they were scrimming, Kingsman was trying to come up with strategies and respectfully try to compromise like an adult would. And while you can hear frustration in his voice, it genuinely doesn't sound like he's mad that his teammates aren't as good as him or that he's carrying. He's frustrated that he's getting nowhere as his teammates refuse to listen, are extremely complacent, won't come to compromises, and tell him, and I quote, Kingsman, shut the fuck up. And they were just all around being extremely rude and disrespectful to him, while he continued to hold his tongue in every situation, which is kind of crazy, because to have that level of patience is just on another level, because me, and let's be honest, many others would have crashed out at that point, and we would have started hurling some curse words back. I'm not talking slurs or nothing, no Peterbot shit. Anyways, how this team was treating Kingsman was like going to a Fortnite Pro-Am with Peterbot, which is also a creator tournament by the way, but you never agree to Peterbot's comms, tell him to shut the fuck up, that you're not gonna rotate with him, and that you won't carry additional meds that he might need. Aussie Antics and Peterbot won the most recent Pro-Am, by the way, and there was no drama. And if there was drama, I guarantee Peterbot would not have been as kind to his teammates as Kingsman was. I think we all know that. Now, to address 3 of the biggest points made by a Marvel Rivals creator who was on the side of CeCe and Zaza and Luciosa to begin with, was 1, he said that there was no need to be overly competitive because it's a creator tournament, not a ranked match, which has me confused because in all my experiences in gaming, tournaments are way more competitive than ranked, and overall, the content isn't that you have an opportunity to play with other creators and vibe, the content is playing the tournament and trying to win. Saying that this tournament was only an opportunity to vibe and play with other creators is stupid, because when you're high elo in the game, you already run into and play with 90% of these creators, and most of these creators have early access, which gives them even more opportunity to play together and clip farm in a less competitive setting. Next, this creator argued that Kingsman would make more money over time thanks to the growth from the tournament, which technically he was right. However, it did not happen at all in the way that he predicted. This creator said that Kingsman would make more money just by streaming the event and posting videos because of the growth. However, Kingsman's entire brand is being the best and winning. Imagine the hate his teammates would get if he posted content on him hard carrying while his teammates were sucking like this creator suggested. Oh wait, he did do that. And look what happened. And also, to that same argument, most of us probably watch Kingsman because he's the GOAT, and he's better than us. Just like how people don't watch Peterbot for his personality, they watch him for his skill and playstyle. Meanwhile, I watch someone like Mark DZ because he's fucking hilarious, and his skill at the game is just a bonus. And then finally, the most egregious point made by this creator, and dare I say simp who was defending CeCe and the other girls, was that Kingsman's chat was being toxic, and that their toxicity was a reflection on him. Which is insane, because his chat was smart enough to realize he was wronged, and if they went to other streams with their anger, how was that Kingsman's fault when he repeatedly took all of this bullshit on the chin and told his chat not to go to other streams with toxicity? Also, I want to point out that while the initial scrim session was going on, and even after Kingsman got kicked, Luciosa and CeCe repeatedly spewed insults and talked shit about him with their chat, and CeCe quite possibly might be the worst human out of the 3 with the shit she was saying. But I'm not ready to talk about her yet, because I want to talk about Luciosa first, because she is somehow skirting by relatively under the radar. Like, people genuinely don't realize that she was on the team with CeCe and them. She became the captain after CeCe got kicked. She was there. However, there is a very popular clip of her going around right now, which is actually just a fucking joke. Like, it's actually hilarious how, like, bafflingly stupid this fucking take that I don't even know what she was trying to say, but basically she just tried to compare supporting Kingsman to supporting Israel. Like, how does that thought even come to your head? But to be fair, I already knew she was delusional based off some of her takes just regarding the game's balancing that she revealed when being interviewed by another Marvel Rivals creator. Also, the only other times I've ever seen her was when she was duoing with Kingsman, so not only is she boosted, but also fake. She also calls herself the #1 Invisible Woman player, which is hilarious, because Luciosa to CeCe, the actual #1 Invis Woman player, is like me to Kingsman. So if she can say she's the #1, I should be able to say that I'm the #1 Magic. Also, some of the DMs between her and Kingsman got leaked after he got kicked, and it really just seemed like she was apologizing that he got kicked and not apologizing for her actions, basically. She basically said, sorry that you got kicked. But speaking of apologies, I wanted to talk about Basm ZB real quick because I genuinely feel bad for him, and I think that he just had like a lapse of judgment, being as he's an amateur tournament host. He's not really familiar with how things should work, and he might have jumped the gun too quickly without seeing both sides of the story. He got too hasty, tried to solve the problem too quickly, and he just didn't take the time, and he genuinely seems remorseful, and it seems like he's actually gone out of his way to make things better with Kingsman and show sincere apology. So I just wanted to shout out Basm, another little off-script moment for me. And now on to CeCe, because her takes on Twitter and Discord were so repulsive that I barely use those apps, and they still came to my attention and spread around the internet. And also, she made an empty apology video on YouTube where she somehow morphed into a VTuber, and it's possible that she even used a voice changer to appear more innocent. Honestly, it would really baffle me if she still has an audience after this, because holy. She, by the way, was also kicked from the tournament and was banned on Twitch for telling someone to kill themselves. But anyway, this video was mostly focused on the Marvel Rivals creators simps who were defending the e-girls without giving Kingsman a second to even defend himself, which a lot of this glazing is still going on in the Marvel Rivals creators Discord, to be honest. But overall, I do want to say that the Marvel Rivals community is lucky to have a GOAT like Kingsman, and let's hope he doesn't get involved with any chocolate cakes anytime soon. Also, to all the Capone lovers and Capone himself coming out of the woodwork, just please shut the fuck up. There are terrible people who are women, and there are terrible people who are men. Anyway, I'm glad everything is working out extremely well for Kingsman. Until some new documents. Kingsman out of nowhere posted what he calls the CeCe files, exposing some of her DMs, and it's actually kind of crazy how fake she is. I'll put a lot of them on screen so you guys can just read up. Yeah, so she overall just tries to play the victim in the DMs between her and Kingsman, and she just seems really manipulative, like an old toxic ex or something like that. Meanwhile, from what I saw on Twitter, it seems like she's trying to act like she's changed and that she's stepping away and really reflecting and changing for the better, but I mean, actions speak louder than words. And I do believe in second chances. Obviously, I believe that everybody can change and people can definitely change for the better, but I think it's going to take a lot more than just one day and a couple Twitter posts to, you know, change for the better. I think she needs to put some genuine effort in and not just talk about doing it and just actually do it, and then the results will show on their own without her having to speak on it. Anyways, that's just my opinion. I just wanted to talk about this because, you know, Kingsman is low-key my daddy. He's the magic goat, and, you know, we're lucky to have a goat like him and one that hopefully doesn't eat any chocolate cake and then blast the hard R. So, yeah. Shout out to Kingsman, bro. Love that guy.